Right. I think we have successfully made another live, and thank you guys so much. Thanks for hitting like button, all that good stuff. So this was a email. So I mean, I'm definitely not feeling like an expert in this field by any means, but I'm gonna give a little bit of pointers. So what we're looking at would be an old, there's going to be an existing garage here. The rafters are obviously gone. Here's the shell of it, right? The walls. We got 3 walls, and then this particular gentleman wants to put a garage door. Now, hindsight 2020, right? He wish he would have the concrete. They sloped it, right? So I think it's high on one side. Let me see if I can, if we can pull up the. This was the text. I don't know if it's going to blow up any bigger or not. Freeze! Holy cow! I think he's already jumping in here. That's awesome. I'll get him in here in just a second. So we came across this. Installed the garage. The floor is sloped. Had a concrete slab poured and didn't switch to the garage. Huge mistake on part. 16 foot wide. Just wondering if there's any solution. It costs to redo the concrete, which the concrete looks really nice, by the way. It doesn't work. So let's see if we can bring Freeze in here. Maybe he's got a few thought processes on it. Whoa.
Hey.
I got you.
In the car, so that's why I look like a ghost.
That's all good. Got any input for this particular customer? I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I'm zooming it in right now. Oops.
Got a concrete was slow.
Well, now it went out.
So we're trying to figure out something. Echo back at you.
All I heard is something with concrete.
Yeah, so they poured the concrete. They sloped it, and hopefully this isn't echoing bad. But they sloped it. They want to pour concrete. So I don't really have, except for making a speed bump.
So are they wanting to put a gate in there?
No, they're wanting to put a wall and then roof and all that.
Oh.
So it's kind of a pain. Are you able to see it?
Yeah, I can see it. I'm looking at.
Oh, nice.
Was there a garage there at one point? Because it looked like something used to be there.
Yeah, there was. And so I think they had the concrete guy that kind of got screwed up. Like, hey, put a driveway in here.
So I've seen this over in like Cali. Yeah, I've seen this over in Cali and kind of the rural section of PA where there's like hills everywhere, where they have a custom wedge piece on the bottom panel of the door that goes on a slope so it could contour the ground. The thing is with that is once it gets into the radius, you still have that little wedge hanging down up at the top of the door.
Right.
Another way you can do it is get concrete in there and make like a bump like you were saying for that. The thing I'm more worried about is, well, actually, no, we're just garage door guys. We don't have to worry about this crap, but the how to build the roof over top of it and drilling into the concrete, because you're gonna need pillars on each side, not pillars like I know there's a name for it. I took carpentry. I can't remember the framing though.
Right. The sidewalls or whatever.
Yeah, like the posts, but you're gonna need one on each side. And then the header, obviously, you're going to need a really thick header because springs and stuff. This is one of my pet peeves. I wish they could do this during all new builds and pretty much even on older houses. But I feel like there should be like a 4x6 across the top of each door, so there's a good place to mount a spring pad and all your top fixtures and all that stuff.
Sure. Right.
But yeah, that's just pet peeve aside. That's definitely going to be interesting with that slope. Hey, if anything, you don't have to worry about it putting a drain in the garage because all the water's going to go out for the front and down that one side. I wish I had that.
That's right. Exactly. Maybe you can, Eric. Maybe you can check out the comments. I think I'm getting echo.
Yeah, let me turn my comments. That's just Evan so far. And Rusty just joined. Now I see, Evan, you're talking about a carport. Putting doors on carports are always interesting. I had I went to one place, they already had a carport, but I replaced their opener for them. They had 2 doors, only one had an opener. I put up like a basic Chamberlain with a square rail. This was actually the first opener replacement I ever did for money. But there was no walls on the side of this carport, and they just had the door and the opener, and they wanted to replace it because the old opener stopped working, and I went to take the opener apart, and there was like mice or something was in there, and they were chewing on the wires or something. I think one of them got electrocuted. It's like you could see like it was all like fried and stuff in there. Oh yeah. Yeah, I see, Evan.
That's crazy.
So does that mean, did they want you to like do all the framing for the door too?
For myself?
No, I'm talking about the Evan said, I don't think I'm getting that carport. They want someone to do everything. So I'm wondering if what he means by that is like he has to do all the framing in order to get the door in, all the hanging of like the well, actually no, back hangs and stuff, that's all part of just installing a door. Yeah, they want me to frame the door. Explain garage you don't do that. Yeah, you need a carpenter for that. Now, I'm pretty sure there's some person out there, some handyman that's willing to do everything, but I'm pretty sure the run-of-the-mill door company isn't going to want to go through and do all that framing.
No. I feel like I'm really and I'm echo.
Echo. I wonder if I turn down my volume a little bit, if that would help. I don't know if that made any difference.
Oh, so maybe it's on your end.
Yeah, I turned my volume down. Did that help?
I'll do some yakking here for a second. I think I think so. I think I still hear it. It's kind of weird. Oh, hang on.
Geez, if I had headphones on me, I'd plug in headphones because my phone still has the headphone jack on it. And then that will take the echo out of my equation.
I'll let you kind of go through comments. I think it's on my end.
Okay. It helped a little bit. If you're on your phone, Eric might need a headset or earbud. Yeah, if I might have one in the house since I'm at home, but now it's downpouring and I have to walk into a big puddle in order to get to the house.
Nah.
Actually, I'll go do that quickly. I'll mute my mic so there's not an issue, and I'll be back.
That sounds a little bit better. No, I think you're good. It was on my end, so I think you're good now.
Try saying something again. See if it still does it.
All right, let me jump into these comments. What's everybody got? No, I think we're good. Like I said, I don't hear it anymore. I think it was because I wasn't on my actual mic. I was on the computer's mic.
Oh, okay, I see.
Oh, I hear it there.
Okay, it's probably my it's probably me then, because I turned the mic off for a little bit.
Carport says, let's see what Evans, frame door, and frame doors, always going to level slope. Aren't my problem solved. Let me see if I take just for a second. I'm gonna mute that. I think it is maybe on your end, Mr. Eric, because right now I'm talking. I muted you right now, so I don't know if it's. That is kind of weird.
I'm gonna go get that headphone set because I think that'll fix all of the problems. So it'll only take me like a couple minutes to go inside. Well, who knows?
Go for it.
But yeah. I'm muting for the time being so you can continue talking without causing an issue.
It's all good. I think I muted you on the system here, so I think we're hopefully good. So I can kind of go through some of the comments and all that good stuff. It's a good learning experience. I don't know why Evan and Papa Tony didn't have the problem. I don't know what's the difference. I don't know if it's cousin Evan. All right, where are we at, guys? Evans, guys, as the echo is back. Now I don't hear it. I know it's bouncing all around. Is he on his phone? Yeah, I think he's on his phone. I was just talking about I got to get one of those. Like I said, it's probably not mine, but there is reasons for why. Now I'm starting to understand why people wear headsets when they're doing doing the lives. But what's really weird is it's delayed in my ear, so it's kind of weird hearing myself talk back. I don't know how to explain it. I think it's more complicated than garage doors. We'll take a look back at this from Doug about what he was talking about. Slab board, especially for a garage, huge mistake. Part installing a 16-foot wide door, 4 inches higher from the other solutions. I've seen it where they, like on gates, they have certain like flaps that'll come down in certain areas, engineered. But with garage doors, it's hard, especially through that radius. One thing I was just thinking about is what if he went taller? If he went taller with the garage and kept some high lift in there or something like that, because even if he modified the bottom section with an angle piece on it, it doesn't have to go through the radius. So if the door, comes down, smushes down, contours to the ground. Evan said it came back. Evan, how far is that torsion spring the easy set spring. How far of a hike is that from your location? Ooh, Evan was having problems too with the echo. I think there's a slight, because it has a slight delay. Ooh, man, the easy set job is 5 minutes down the highway from my house. That's perfect. That's awesome. So are you leaning towards you're gonna order the easy set spring? I always felt bad when people had the easy set. Okay, in Texas, I live on the edge of town. Did you take the old spring down? Is it one spring or two springs? What's up? I see Rich's. It's cheaper if you do the easy set springs, than the whole torsion. I always felt kind of bad. Oh, Mr. Eric. Let me unmute his mic, so maybe he's getting fixed up.
I'll let you try this for a little bit.
9x7. It's in the Trailblazer still. Nice. Well, so far, I'm hearing you.
I think we figured out what we have to do. Of course, I had to go get a Coke.
Yep. Evan was saying they had problems. We had problems with Papa Tony too, though, but he was saying something with the delay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, let me check these comments here.
I went through a few of them. There's mostly Evan telling us how bad our echo is.
Yeah. Said something about, he has a 9x7. It's in the Trailblazer still. I've noticed the delays when we go live. Yeah, I've used StreamYard before in the past, and I never had any sort of issues with delays. I did back in the day, like during 2020 and stuff, but I think they fixed a lot of that.
Sure. Notice delays from my computer is what he's saying. Huh. So, Eric, what's new on your end? Since you're
Haven't
here,
done really
tell us a little bit.
Haven't done really any sort of door stuff recently. Haven't had anyone call me or anything. I can't remember the last one I did. Because I've been doing the yards a lot, getting all the yards mowed. I had to do some scrap metal runs for my
You think it's
custodian job.
just the economy, just kind of, or what?
I think I need to advertise again, put another thing up on the Facebook. We have a group that's kind of local, like a Facebook group just for our town. So people in the town, like, we all post there and for services and ask questions and stuff. That's where I post. There is the local company as well that
Nice.
I would go with. I'd go to and kind of like
That's real nice.
apprentice at. So if I like desperately want to do something door related, I can go with one of the guys there and do stuff like that. Which this is something Rusty said. He was wondering if I was gonna start full time with a door company, and I'll be honest, I want to, but I don't think I can do it every single day. It's not easy, but I do like doing it.
Is there any reason why? I mean, is it just kind of physical? Is it just your time restraints, or what's the cause?
I'm not too sure. I don't really want to overwork myself, and I also don't like the routine of waking up every single day at a certain time. It reminds me of school, and doing that kind of makes me depressed. The current job I work at as a custodian, I kind of go in and out whenever. Now, as a garage door tech, if you work for yourself, you don't really have that schedule of waking up and
Sure.
going wherever you want. So if you're working for yourself, you don't really have you don't really have that worried. But if you're working for a company or someone else, then normally they want you doing something at some other time, which I guess a pro to that would be you can schedule things around your job. So if something else comes up, or you can have that scheduled for later on and have your job be priority, if that makes sense. Whereas if you're kind of working whenever they need you, like emergency and stuff,
Right.
for all you know, you have a family get together or birthday party you'll be at, and then you'll have to go run to go replace a spring for someone, which normally would be easy and quick, but since you don't want to do it and you're there or hot outside or something, it just makes the job way, way harder. But hey, if they're paying you, who the heck cares? So
Mm-hmm. That's true.
it's
Let's check the
Dave.
comments here. The Google business with
Now I see what
so
what
you're more
Evan's.
of a genie guy, right?
Yeah, I honestly I don't really like any of them, but I like picking the best out of the worst. Genie, I liked her 3024. It's a great machine. It has plenty of power. That's my go-to
Right.
unit. If like I will if I'm just doing a door install for someone, and I want to install an opener, or I mean if they want to, I'm doing an opener install and they want something that just kind of works. What's going on here? Hey, can you still hear me?
How does that work when you get a phone call?
I don't know. Someone tried to call me while I
Yesterday,
was
I
like,
can hear the phone ringing.
yeah, picking it. It's just like politics. You pick the worst out of the. I mean, you pick the best out of the bad bunch or whatever. But yeah, that's how it is. But yeah, Genie 3024 is my go-to. That with the chain rail, they run way better with the belt rail, but chain rail I think is a bit more heavier duty. You don't have to worry about the belt stretching over time. I don't think Genie has that lifetime belt warranty like LiftMaster does. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it. There was I've I've been
Were you
doing
the
a
one
few
that's telling me about
chamberlains.
the gray and the black?
Thought that was you that brought that up, but yeah, they're the gray and the black ones. If you're talking about like the small ones, the small box ones, Peter, the little light on the back or the two lights on the side, those I can't remember the models off the top of my head because I don't like those. The majority, like the only time we install those is if there is some sort of budget job or for like a builder or something, and they want the cheapest thing available. With the big company here in town, they just do the 3024 because they know it just works and there's nothing to go wrong with it. Our company, since the one I work with, that's next town over, since we're a bit smaller and we're more worried about car costs, we do have that as an option with the chain rail and belt rail, and it's the unit that has the light on the back. I think it's the 2070s. Like you probably have some of those. You probably tell me what
Okay.
it is. I had it memorized at one point, but not anymore. Those are still not bad machines, though. I did also notice something with those. At least the we haven't gotten it yet on the Pro Series openers, but I put one in recently, one of the residential ones with like that cheap feeling rail that kind of fits together with the chain. But I put one of those in for a guy, and when I got it all wired up, I noticed that just like the old
Right.
Liftmasters, when you cross the safety beams, the light comes on the back of the opener. I'm not sure if anyone else here has noticed that, but I did. I thought that was strange. I don't know if anyone. When was the last time you saw the Genie? Eric, do you subcontract or part time? I'd say more like
For
part
me, might
time.
be a little delayed on this.
I wonder.
I don't know, probably a couple weeks ago.
Oh wow, that was like a 1 minute delay.
I'm kind of delayed. I'm out of the loop. This is all you for the moment until I figure out this audio.
Yeah, I don't. I wonder if I like leave and then rejoin, if that would fix it. I might try that. Where's Eric's location? I'm in Millersburg, Ohio.
Oh, perfect.
And Evan, Eric, I think that thing with the Genie light thing is because the lawsuit with Chamberlain had to fund. Because Genie had to fund. I would have. That is weird. I don't know. I never looked into that lawsuit, Evan. It's very strange. I thought it had to do with the lights blinking when the opener is all. This is so we're gonna get to this right here. This is something I would do if I had my own line of openers. Is if the safety sensors are crossed, the door goes back up, and it will beep 5 times. If it's a force issue, it will beep 3 times. And it'll flash the light and beep. So there is both an audible response that you can hear and then the visual one that you see with the lights. Because not all the time someone has a light bulb in their unit. The light bulb could be burned out. So, and you can't always hear the clicking because it's a garage door opener that's in a garage. There's things in the garage that make noise like cars and stuff. And if someone could be mowing their yard, you might have HVAC equipment in there, laundry machines, who the heck knows. But yeah.
Good points.
I'm gonna. Oh, let me know when you hear me say this. Just say this again so I know how long the delay is.
I tried something different, so right now I think I'm here.
I'd have an automated.
Go ahead.
I'd have an automated voice instead of a beep. I don't know. Voice seems too creepy. It reminds me of that unnecessary AI stuff. Not everyone understands like it reminds me of the security system that was at my uncle's house. He had this old security system. Go fix. Someone here might find this interesting, but that system, it was made by Lanier in the 90s. Lanier used to do access control, and one of the things he did was home security. That's completely beside the point. But when you would open the door, there would be this voice. Like it sounded like the old Texas Speak and Spell or the old Chrysler New Yorkers, but it'd be like front door or sliding door. If one of the zones was stripped. So I always remembered that. It'd be interesting, but like I could think of something like that on an opener. So I guess that would make sense, but it would just seem very weird. Safety sensor issue. Probably have it be like safety reverse tripped, force or safety safety sensor failure, safety beam crossed or something. I don't know, or force error or safety error. I don't know. I like the idea of the beeps, even though like the average person couldn't differentiate between 5 beeps and 3 beeps because people are big fat American consumers are kind of stupid. They don't know the difference. Half the time Americans, they don't know the difference between their smoke alarm and their carbon monoxide alarm. 4 quick beeps is carbon monoxide. 3 long beeps is fire. Oh, and 1 chirp every minute is low battery. You should probably replace your battery.
Getting a hell of an education here.
No, I'm just like ranting about smoke alarms for some reason. It's like, actually no, I'm probably more ranting off of just the standard American. Like half the time, like they don't even know what brand of opener they got. Now, not knowing what brand of door you got, that's kind of like half the time I don't even know what door I'm working on because they don't, whatever company put it in didn't even put a sticker on it. But openers should be pretty easy since there's normally a sticker on the side of it, and then your remote also has a branding on it. Like for example, so like see it says LiftMaster here. So I would look at that and be like, that's a LiftMaster. Yet you could get the person coming in that has like a Alistair or something, or Monomatic or something, and it has a multi-code hanging off the back of it. So they think the brand name of the opener is multi-code. It's like, oh, I came in here, I got this multi-code. I can't get my my door goes down halfway and goes back up. You know anything about multi-code isn't a manufacturer. It's a line of remotes. Yeah. Look on the side of the opener, the thing that's hanging on the ceiling, and see what it says. It's like, oh, it's a MVP. It's like, okay, I know what that is. I'll be out there. That the force adjustment's on the top. It's a screw. They're finicky. I got you covered.
Eric, you ever get the ones where they'll say something like it's a remote, or they'll call it an opener or a remote, and it's like all backwards. And you're like, what are we talking about? You know, like,
oh, I once had someone, I was doing a job. It was an old black lady. She had a Genie Pro 88, which for some reason, those seem to be pretty rare, but around here I see a whole bunch of them. Magic Door installed a whole bunch of them back in the day, but and not to mention Alliance and Mount Hope are extremely close to here, and then Magic is based out of Orville, at least the location that put in all those machines. That was right in between Alliance and Mount Hope, so to see those machines there, like on almost every garage but that's besides the point. So the person said, the person would refer to their remote as the Genie, which I always thought was hilarious. It's like, well, I got my little Genie here, and it would only work in these certain spots. So the driveway is like it turned like we figured it out. It was just a low battery, but yeah.
I get them a lot where they'll say, you know, where they confuse me is they'll say, well, I need another opener, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, and then finally it comes to, oh, you need another remote. You know, yeah, my remote's not working, you know, or something. It's like,
yeah, I've heard people refer to their remotes as openers too a lot. The one where the lady calls the remote the Genie, that always stuck out to my head. I always got a chuckle out of that. It's like I have my Genie here. I'm just like Rusty. I have remotes all over my car. At least these ones are programmed to stuff.
Right. I always used to kind of hate it. I used to lose a lot of my remotes. I always had pretty much a universal on me, but my universal was programmed to whatever, a door, a gate, or something. Of course, you know, you're scrounging, you're at a customer's, and you used up your last one. So now it's like, oh, it's like I gotta donate mine, you know. And then it's like last thing you want to do is when you go home, now you gotta, you know, dig up another one or get one from the shop and, you know, replenish yours, you know, reprogram your own.
Yeah, that's one of the issues of being a long distance loser. If you're 5 Mile famous, just go back to the shop, grab another remote, and then come back out.
That's true. That
But
is
yeah,
true.
I'd understand that if you have other jobs to go to that day, and it's like, and then you get back to the shop, you don't have your remote, you need to open that gate or that door, and it's like, I can't do it. I have to go use my actual key and go inside and open the door and walk around the whole thing and all of that stuff.
Yep. Exactly. Happened many a times. Trying to read some.
So I get that. Like I've had similar. Evan was talking about, or Craftsman, that might cause issue down the road here, since is it Craftsman or that other brand? I'm not sure.
Craftsman might kind of choose down there. Chamberlain. Genie was it? What's Rich got here? Rich B.
The Genie is like the banded. Yeah, it's just the branding. Yeah, it's like you slap the thing on it. I know they do it like if you're talking about like the OHD rebadges and stuff. I always think of Chamberlain, Liftmaster back in the 2000s, especially. They did a bunch of rebadges. I've seen them like Master Mechanic do it.
Oh yeah.
I know Andy. He probably knows all of them. He can probably have like a big list. I know Rainer was one. I seen there was one I really wanted to pull this one, but the person insists on keeping it. It was a True Value True Guard. Had like a candy apple red case. Oh, wow. That thing was pretty. It was just like a 1265 LM, but I just liked the red case. I thought that thing looked sweet.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, over in Cali, there was another one that had a red case. It was also a 1265 LM style. It was the Anaheim door. But those, I think, just had a sticker on the side of them, but it had a red case. So,
weren't you showing me? Were you the one that showing me was it the diamond plate one? Do you ever see the diamond plate one? It's real rare. I think it was made by Liftmaster.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. When I think of when I think of diamond plate, I think of those I don't know who actually made them. I think they were Alliance built or something.
Mm-hmm.
But these commercial ops we see around here, I can't remember what they're called. I had the name on the tip of my tongue, but the outer case of them is diamond plate. And you see them a lot in car washes around here.
Mm-hmm.
And I remembered I talked to some other people about them, and they never seen them before. I have a picture of one somewhere. I'll send it to you if I remember.
Nice.
But yeah, I want one of those at some point. They're interesting. But yeah, I do remember there was a Chamberlain. It was like the power drive unit with like the lights on either side. I don't know the Liftmaster equivalent off the top of my head, but it was one with the larger sprocket.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, I don't know if this would be new enough to be purple or the red square or purple square. But yeah, Andy, I think Andy was the one, because he was talking about it at one point.
Maybe it was something to do with the wrap. I guess you used to be able to custom wrap them. Yeah,
I remember that there for a while. Like there would be a sticker on the side of it that'd say like "skin it." I remember that because there's this one. My uncle, he has this Liftmaster out in his not Liftmaster, his Chamberlain out in his garage that has that. It's like the very first design, like of the newer style Whisper drives. Like this is like when the Liftmaster came out, the 8550. It was the Chamberlain counterpart, so it had the gold case. I remember that sticker on the front of it. That opener's still working. The motor in that one, it doesn't sound half bad. It's DC, but it's still chugging along.
Huh? It is a DC, huh? I'm surprised. Didn't Andy tear apart a DC and the motor was pretty destroyed?
I can't remember. I want to find some DC Liftmasters to tear apart. I know he had that 8550 on his door, and then when he had the Midlands in there, and one of them, I think the spring was off, and eventually the gear ground out in in that 8550, and as part of it, like the motor was really loud on that one. I remember that.
Right. Huh, that's crazy.
Does anyone down there pronounce garage as garage? Here's some people. My sister has that Chamberlain brand 1260. She insists on keeping it. Yeah, that's. I know what you're talking about. That's the one that has the light on the front and back. It's just Chamberlain brand. It has the blue case. It's like calling a refrigerator the frigid air. Like Kleenex or. Oh, I think are you guys talking about like calling the remote the genie? Is that what you're referring to, Rich? Yeah, the skin it sticker. I also remembered like seeing packaging or something with like the Chamberlain version, like the 380 UT, where you could like customize the color on it or something. I remembered seeing that. And I remembered actually one of the someone I knew, they had a Honda Odyssey and they had one of those remotes on the dash, and instead of it being like the blue or the black on it, it was, I think, like a gold. Maybe it was a or maybe it was a maybe that remote was like a special, like one that was specific to Home Depot or something, because I know for a while when they were having those early second generation whisper drives, as I call them, like the ones, the 8550 counterpart. I don't know the model numbers, I'm not Andy, but the ones with the gold case, I think those ones came from the Home Depot, and the ones with the blue case came from the Lowe's. Well, I mean, no, not the blue case, the gray case. And I know eventually I know eventually Home Depot, I think they had the gray case, and then with like the gold text on it or something. And then I know for sure the blue ones were Lowe's exclusive, and then eventually for like the last year they did the blue ones before they went to the UFO ops. Every place had the blue ones. Like I know you could get them at Menards. I saw them at Ace, because I know I installed one of them. One of the ones, it was the AC motor belt drive with the lights on each side with the blue case. I had that one running so good. That thing ran so smooth. I want to go back and check up on that one if I could. It's a old mid-century split level house, big wood door. Replaced a Challenger, old Challenger. Gear on the top of it got stripped out. That's normally what kills those.
What do you think about the Challengers?
Dave, send Evan the video of how to talk like a Challengers. They're basic. I don't really have much to them. I'd much prefer the MVPs, the Alisters, stuff like that, because once the gear goes out, I don't think you can buy replacements. They're pretty much screwed after that. They also move a bit too fast for my liking, and they always feel kind of janky.
True.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, they do feel janky, yet they also feel overbuilt at the same time. Like, when those were made, those were budget openers.
Right.
Like, those were like those little, like the Genie's Delight on the back or the Liftmaster 8165. They were budget. They were budget ops, like commercial budget ops, but still budget ops. And then the Wayne Dalton, that's what the quantum drives are based off of. They're based off of Challengers. They bought the patents for those when Challenger kind of went belly up. And I knew, I think Alistair had something to do with it. This is something I want to try. Next time I pull out a Quantum, I want to try to see if the safety sensors from those would work on an MVP, because I have multiple MVP heads, and none of them have sensors except for one, and that one's installed at the shop. That's actually what this multi-code remote up here is programmed to. It's programmed with that.
What do you think about this Genie Pro? Think it's worth trying to save? Pro Stealth?
The Pro Stealth, Pro Max, those are great openers. Those are.
So you think this one's
beasts.
I wonder, can you get parts for them?
I'm not sure what exactly is wrong with it. I don't normally see them fail except for like capacitors.
Yeah,
Capacitor and
supposedly
sprocket failures are the two major failures I see on those.
it looks like it's a belt drive. So I mean, they said supposedly the circuit board's bad. Supposedly that's kind of what the customer said, but
Yeah, it might be done for, just like anything else. Power surge will just knock out an op.
right.
That's why I don't see the stealths around here anymore, is because a lot of those were killed by power surges.
Ooh, ooh. Do you know a good power surge protector? I guess Cap was saying a couple, the ones that we have, the cheaper ones, that they're not working the best.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, just they have the single plug ones. Just go to Lowe's. I think they're the Utilitech brand. You can probably get like a couple of them in like a pack.
Yep.
This is how I think about it. I think the opener companies, like I think LiftMaster, they were doing something about it for a while. I don't know if they are or not. This is all opinion, but I heard that Chamberlain LiftMaster, they were trying to incorporate built-in surge protection into those openers, which is a good idea. But something I think about with surge protectors is surge protectors, they don't normally last. Once you have a big power surge, chances are the surge protector dies. Like, you look at the little like LED on there, once the LED goes out, the thing's toast. You just throw it away and buy another one. But I've heard different people say different things. So surge protectors are not my expertise, but I will say having a surge protector on an opener is definitely a good thing. Now, for me, I have Sears from 1974. They don't have a control board in there. There's nothing on there to fry. And I have a little plug-in LiftMaster receiver, and I don't think I've ever heard of those go bad from any sort of surge issue. So I'm not too worried about that. Now, that Genie on my shed, I actually should probably worry about that, since no, that's plugged into surge protection power strip, so it's fine still. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know much on the surge protectors. I was talking to Cap about it, and he said he's had a couple of the genies, have gotten zapped, and then he says, we're putting on the cheapest, but he said he also heard that one surge protector, kind of like when it gets hit, kind of like what you were saying, it's kind of done for it. So it makes me wonder if those ones had LEDs on them, because maybe that's something we got to educate the customer on. And that'd be nice to know too, because that way, if you see it and you're like, oh, the LED's not anymore, that means it's got whacked, and it's time to get rid of it before it takes out the opener.
Oh, I'm going to read what Rusty says here, because this looks kind of interesting.
Sure.
They must have some type of surge protection, because today the customer wired the outlet, it sparked and triggered the breaker. When I plugged the opener in, I plugged it into a different outlet and it was fine. Yeah, I think you're onto something, Rusty, because I'm pretty sure I heard someone's talking about how LiftMaster, like when they started doing the ones to digital limits, I think that like when they switched over to that, they started incorporating surge protection into all their openers.
I mean, the thing is, though, is like LiftMaster seems like they've always been better for surge, for power surges. Genie's always been the weakest, for
yes, Genie and Lanier. Those are the two I can think of. The Laniers, they get knocked out by surge protection too. At least we've had a couple of them. I know we've pulled a LDO 50 that had that issue. It's kind of and a friend of mine, he has the LDO 50 in his garage got a board. I'm getting that one parts unit from Rusty that has the stripped gear. I'm going to save the board off of that and keep that as an extra for his, because I want to do some experimenting. See if the board goes out on that. I'll put that in.
Right.
But yeah, like you're saying, I know, and I've heard some people say the older LiftMasters, like the ones with the red square, and the old billion code units. Those ones that I've heard, those ones they can have power surges. I don't know if I've ever heard anything about a purple button machine having an issue. I don't think I've ever seen. I know for sure I've never seen a purple unit fail. At least a board problem like that. There is the issues where they like, there's never, like with the LiftMasters, there's never a direct KO. Normally with those ones, it's always the remote stop working, like a remote function doesn't work, or it won't accept safety sensors, or something like that. It's never a complete failure.
Yeah.
Like, what was that one I had recently? I was telling Rusty about it last time we met up. But I had one where I had to replace the board in there because it just would not accept sensors anymore. It was I think it was purple learn button. Replaced a lot of purple squares in the last 20 years. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. If anyone here, if you have board issues with LiftMasters, like because like one thing stops working, make note of that. I'd like to because I never really kept track of that, but I think that'd be an interesting thing to keep track of. Because with the LiftMasters, there's always something different with those older
Yeah, I
ones.
kind of agree with what you're saying though. With the LiftMaster, it always is some weird, like little glitch. They don't just completely kind of shut down where the genies. But I mean, like LiftMaster, I mean, it's like you got to see a tree in the front yard to see a lightning strike go through it, and then you're like, oh, when pretty much the person lost everything in the house, and you're like,
Yeah,
it took a pretty hard hit, and they're like, we lost everything, the fridge, everything. Where Genie, it's always been like you go there and they're like, well, the microwave quit working and our TV, and it's like, okay, they kind of got that gray, like we think we got a power surge, and it's like, yeah, and well, the Genie's weak, and so it got hit, so it's time to replace it or whatever. But I didn't really see too much of that.
I've also like normally when it happens, I get the red light of
Yeah,
death.
red light of death. That's what
That's
we
how
call
I
it.
know. That's how I know it. It's like it reminds me of back in the day because I'm a lot younger than everyone here. Well, Evan might be in my age. Remember the red ring of death on the Xbox? Like when the hard drive would go out or it'd be some sort of format error, it'd be the red ring of death. So I even though it was called the red light of death, I'd sometimes call it the red ring. The red
Right.
ring. It's like, well, I'm working on this this Genie Mach 4 screw drive, and they we had a nasty storm yesterday night, and it has the red ring of death on it. I was like, should we call Genie, see if we can get a replacement board via warranty, or should we just replace the whole operator with another one? Like they've had that call before. Yeah, Evan remembers the red ring.
Did you guys normally change out the whole head, or did you try to fix the board on those Genies that got zapped?
Being that like we work with Genie a lot, we can get boards via like a warranty or something. I'm not sure how it works, but sometimes
Right.
we can get boards like the thing like you with the RPM sensors where they sent you that big box RPM sensors. We get kind of the same thing with the boards. Some of them it's a bit different. Occasionally we'll have to replace the head, and if we install the opener, like sometimes it's on us if something goes bad with that opener that we have to replace it even if there's a power surge or RPM sensor goes bad or something like that. So stuff like that's always a big deal because every little repair that's dollars out of the pocket. So
I heard, I don't know if this is kind of like rumor or if Cap was trying to indicate something, but he was saying to me about, like they were asking, like, was it on a surge protector? And I don't know for sure if it was a clear, like, well, if it
yes,
wasn't,
they do ask that question. That is one I do remember when
so
about that Mach Force.
I wonder if Genie, do they have one that they recommend or do they sell, that it's kind of, they consider proven?
I'm going to ask that because that does intrigue me. I know at a time LiftMaster you could buy, like if you go in your accessory book, this was back in the day when they had the ones where everything was like that 8365 style case with like the swoop light covers. But back during that time, like Purple Learn, during then, you could actually buy a LiftMaster branded surge protector that you could use with those openers. I remember that because I think I seen it in a catalog, and I also remember going into this one lady's garage, and she had the I think it was the 3250s or whatever, the ones with the light on the front and back, the older equivalent of the 8365. 3265, I think that's what those are called, 3265s. but she had 2 of them, and both of them had those LiftMaster branded surge protectors. And then my uncle, he has like the 3250, the Formula One belt drive, I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no, 3250 was the red case of DC motor. Those are best DC motor belt drives ever. Those things are. I can talk about those, but yeah, I've seen some of the LiftMaster surge protectors at the mom and pop shop. They also had some of the 371 remotes still in stock. Also,
Does LiftMaster still sell the flashlights? Did anybody ever get the LiftMaster flashlight?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen that.
No, I should have kept it. I think they all went bad and I threw them out. Should have kept it.
Was it just like a flashlight that said LiftMaster on it?
Yeah, its flashlight had like a USB port on to plug in to charge, and then it had a weird handle to it. But I forget if there was like a catalog type thing or if they just were handing them out. I remember I don't even know how we got them. We got like 2 or 3 of them.
I never heard of those. That sounds kind of interesting. I remember when you brought up flashlight, I remembered the Genie remotes with the built-in flashlights.
Ooh,
I always thought those were cool.
I don't know if I've ever remember those ones.
Those are from like the early 2010s, like when they had the last of the original style screw drives. They shipped with those, and I think just those and like the really late chain glides. They shipped with those ones. But I remembered those Genie flashlight remotes very well because my aunt and uncle, they had a house. They had a 1265 on a big door and then a small double wide door 9500, and it had one of those Genie screw drives with the flashlight remote. And I thought the flashlight remote was the coolest thing as a kid. I'm not sure if you ever seen my video what he did with that 1265. He got an RV and he got another panel and then have it where that door goes up above the ceiling into the attic, and he has the opener and stuff up there. It's super cool.
You got that on your channel, one of the videos?
Yeah. Remind me later. I'll send you a link to it. I think
perfect.
I don't know if I know I've talked to Andy about it. I don't know if I've told Rusty. I want to show that to him at some point.
That'd be cool to see. I don't know if Eric, you think you're gonna make it over the IDA at all next year?
Well, I don't know where it's going to be at this year.
That's going to be over. Well, it's going to be next year. I think it's in Cali.
Yeah, it's Vegas, normally always in Cali. If it was closer, I totally would. Maybe if all of us go there together, then maybe, I don't know.
Big group. Get the bus.
If I have the bus, then that'd be fun. Just go all over the place. Have me, Rich, Tony, Rusty, you, Evan, if he wants to come down from Canada.
I was wondering if we get Andy. Andy's got
Andy. I don't even know where Andy is. I like Andy because he's like me. He's not just a door guy, but he's also an operator enthusiast.
Right.
And the operator enthusiasts, they always know the most about the history in every single make and model. I don't know every single model, but he does. And having someone like that can memorize not just the current LiftMaster or Genie product lineup, but the previous ones, that's something I wish I could master. Because if I can just talk about, be like, I got Rusty, remember this remote you gave me? Crap, I still can't remember the model, but I used to think it was the 375 LM, like the 375 Max, but it's like the 375. It was something P.
Is that weird blue remote that lights up?
The one with that where you.
Does thing ever have glitches where it just lights up on its own?
Yeah, this is interesting. It's a proximity sensor on it. Where it's like
okay.
It's supposed to be designed where if you hover your hands, the battery on it doesn't work for the proximity, but I still got the battery in it for the activation.
Okay.
So if I press the button, it still lights up. My middle button isn't programmed, and like you can see here, like when it lights up. But I have the third button programmed to the LiftMaster, not the LiftMaster Craftsman branded plug-in receiver. It's on one of my Sears. And
That
then the
thing,
one button,
that remote freaked me out all the time. I used to think I had a cop behind me because it just like flicker and you're like driving, staring in the dark, and all of a sudden you're like, what the, like, is there a cop? He just turned his lights on.
I always like it because these are just kind of weird novelty remotes. I just think it's weird. It's just kind of a fun one. Another one I remembered was the well, actually, I know Overhead Door did this. They had the remotes that were like back in the day where you'd press them for like the old touch and goes like and then it'd open the door. I remembered we had these remotes. They were Moromatic branded. They had like the Moromatic logo with like a little crown on the top of it. I don't know who made them, but those were for our Su-72, and they had like a beeper in them, and it would go beep, like a alarm clock when you would press the button. They were white, they were square shaped, and not like rectangular shaped, like an old multi-code. And then it'd have like a square in the center with a raised circular button. I think the button was red. You'd press the button, it was like beep, 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 and then you'd hear the click on the opener. I remember that
All I think
so
of when
well.
you're saying this beep 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 is I'm thinking of the I just had it, the iDrive, the Wayne Dalton iDrive.
Oh yeah, those. I also, what was the there was another opener, I think it was the Guardian, where you would press the remote and it would beep like once. I think it was Guardian, like the extreme openers. I only worked on a few of those. I just very faintly remember it because I knew I don't know if that opener's still there. The black version's the 895 Max. I've always should have bought one. Yes, that's what you're talking. Yeah, 370 free P. That's what this is called. The light up remote. But yeah, I always thought it'd be fun because I'd be driving in the car at night and it only would light up by itself when it was really humid. That's how I would know. Like, I've noticed this, and also like I have that one family member who has the. I always talk about this. The old LiftMaster Premium Series belt drives with the bird's nest in them that's installed in a cattle barn. They were installed there because it was at the time it was the only opener you could buy with battery backup. And they needed a battery backup opener because the power would always go out over there for extended periods of time.
Sure.
But I always remember them talking to me about that remote, about those remotes, how like, well, I had one in on the tractor and like it occasionally light up by itself and blah, blah, blah. So it was always something I remembered as a kid because they'd talk about the remote like that. And then like as a kid, I've always wanted one of them. I got one of these a few years back. I bought one off of eBay for like $5 free shipping or something, which is like a steal. And I had that one. I got that back in, I think 2019 or so. And I had that one hooked up to the this one opener at my cousin's house. He doesn't live there anymore, but it was a LiftMaster, just generic with the light on the front of it. And I had the other button hooked up to my aunt's Whisper Drive. And
I know that remote I wouldn't sell to people. I quit selling it because I had people calling me and they say, "Hey, this thing keeps lighting up. Isn't that going to kill the battery?" And I just get, it wasn't a lot because I didn't have a lot of them out there. But I just finally said, "I'm done. Nobody's going to get these." So I'd take them out of the box and I'd give them a different model, for the remote.
Yeah. Did you ever just have like tons of them just like piled up somewhere?
Yep. And they eventually, I think, got tossed.
So it's like if you ever find any. Yeah, Rusty just happened to have one sitting around. Well, he had two. He had one in his truck, which that's the one that's inside in my living room. I mean, not my living room, my kitchen. I had the single button Craftsman remote for a while, and then the plastic on it kept falling apart. And I don't want to get rid of that remote because my best friend in Florida, he gave me that, and that was the original remote to his Craftsman screw drive.
Ooh.
That's the only thing that was left to that machine because his house got destroyed by the hurricane. Oh, fun fact. When the hurricane happened, that opener fell off the ceiling and it landed on the windshield of his mom's car.
Ooh.
And damaged the windshield.
Dang. Yeah, they had a lot of problems, it sounds like.
Yeah, he was over in Port Charlotte. This happened, I think, in 2021.
Wow.
Hurricane Ian ruined his whole house. He was homeless for like a week.
Dang. So what's the story now? Is it rebuilt? He moved? It's just a vacant land, or?
So insurance for a couple years. Insurance. It wasn't insurance. It was actually the Salvation Army because there was so much going on. The insurance took its sweet ass time.
Oh,
But Salvation Army, they gave him enough money for a year to live in like a at first it was a trailer house, like for like 6 months, and then for a year after that it was a like a house that was rented, and
sure.
then they couldn't afford that by themselves, so they moved to an apartment, and the apartment rent's crazy bad there, so they can barely afford it. So it's him, his mom, and his grandmother living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and he has to live in the living room, and they couldn't afford their storage unit as well. So they have all
Oh,
the totes from the storage unit, and he made a wall out of those, and he kind of sleeps in that little nook, just enough for a bed and TV.
sure. Got to do what you got to do.
So he calls it his bedroom. He gets back home from work late at night. Like, I'm going to go to my bedroom. It's a bunch of Rubbermaid storage totes in the corner of the living room.
Right, right. That sounds kind of cool, actually. It sounds pretty ingenious.
Yeah, it sucks because that's the only thing he can do to have privacy, and that has to either that or going into his mom's bedroom,
Right,
and hiding in the closet, or
right,
going into
right.
his grandmother's bedroom.
Oh man,
And yeah,
oh, that's crazy. That is crazy. Oh man. So what do you see mostly over in your area? Do you see a lot of, is it LiftMaster, Genie? What do you see for garage doors? Do you see, Clopay, Wayne
in
Dalton?
terms of doors, it's got to be Wayne Dalton. The Dalton plant is like I'm currently at my mom's house. I mean,
Mhm.
my dad's house. Wayne Dalton plant is like a 15-minute drive from here.
Oh,
The
wow.
Genie headquarters, that's a 5-minute drive from here.
Dang.
So Wayne Dalton is everywhere. 9500s, those are in every single new built house around here.
Hmm.
You also see them a lot in retrofits too, but 9500s, and pretty much any sort of Wayne Dalton door to TS200s, those are crazy common around here too.
Hmm.
Like even though those are like commercial rated doors, you'll see them in residential applications too, which
Wow.
is no, they're not clear totes, Rich, but they yeah, you see those, the double wide ones, especially for like the little port cutout windows in residential applications. I always
Right.
thought that was weird. Like my next door neighbor, he has TS200 double wide, like a 16x8 or whatever, and it has the little oval port windows, and it has 2 of them.
That's weird. That's weird. I thought I was the only weird one that did that.
I'll get some pictures of it if you want. But he has that, and he has a Genie Pro Max on there. In terms of openers,
Hmm.
it's all over the place. You see just about anything. You see a lot of rare openers up here. Because I was talking to people, the Genie Pro 88 screw drives, apparently you don't find those very much everywhere else. Around here, my next door neighbor, he has 2 of them.
Huh.
There's a guy down the street, he has one. And then I've even seen some that like no one else has even like seen here. Like I saw this Electron that no one else has ever seen before. Like there's other Electrons, but never one like the one that I saw. Pneumatic Su-72, that's a good example of one. There was that one in my childhood house, and then there's another house I know of, and they have 2 in their garage. One of them's missing the case, but the other one's still intact. And I need to figure out, like, I want to, even though they're openers, they work perfectly fine. I want to just go walk up to that person and just be like, hey, I'll buy you a brand new garage door opener and put it up if I can have your old one.
Right.
I'm
Right.
hoping they still have those little remotes, the little beeper in them. I even asked the garage door geek over I don't know where, I think he's in Seattle. Matt, the garage door geek. Some people might know who he is. He's been
Yeah.
on YouTube for ages.
Right.
But he has just about every single opener under the sun, including a Mormatic Su-72. And I asked him about it, but he said the radio sets, the ones for his, were just rebranded OHD sets. They weren't the ones with the beeper in them.
Oh.
And he showed me a picture, and the remote didn't look anything like the one I remembered seeing. So.
Oh man, I think you said
Oh,
something about
there's that antique store by here, and they have a commercial Mormatic screw drive. Only commercial screw drive I've ever seen. I'm not talking about like the traction drive.
right.
Get off topic. Big Strib just commented. kind of unrelated, but do you ever use the Flipper Zero for experimental purposes, like getting the garage door closing and opening? I've thought about that before. Dave, I'm not sure if you know what the Flipper Zero is. If not, I
No,
can
I
fill
don't.
you in. So
Yeah.
Flipper Zero is a RF device that you can program radio code into, and you can use it for various different things like turning on and off TVs, garage doors, gates. It's a really cool device, but they like the U.S. government banned sale of it. I'm pretty sure because like people were getting into mischief, like they were controlling like traffic lights with it. Like they
Oh,
would be in their car with it, and they'd turn it on like police mode, where everything's where it's all red, just to prank people and stuff.
right.
Had it set up to where he lost his TV remote, and it's like a Roku, so it's RF, and he had it set up to where he could press a button on there and get it to work with like turn on the TV, then turn on the cable box, and then run it through like all the program functions to like get it to like go to like the HDMI input with the push of one button. Which you can't do that unless you have one of those fancy Logitech remotes, which I don't even think they make those anymore. And you also said some things like garage doors may have rolling codes. I think you can get the Flipper Zero to work with a rolling code setup too. You can have it near a LiftMaster remote or Chamberlain remote or whatever. And you can do that by like getting a standard remote, kind of like if you were programming a home link. So you get like your remote here, and then you have it set up, and you put the thing on to where it senses for a signal, and then you press the button on that remote. Now I'm probably just opening my neighbor's garage door across the street. It's fine. But and then it would sense it kind of like the home link, and then you could use that and then put that back onto that door and open that person's door. Or you could just write script for like multi-code or something and get that to work. Like it's a bit more challenging with garage doors, but if it's something like a standard, like if it's non-rolling code, like you'll good old multi-code here, which I don't have. These are programmed to my doors at work, so these do nothing. But yeah, like these are easy to clone because it's not rolling code, and there's so many. Like you could have the Flipper Zero set up to program and run through a whole book of all the different codes that this multi-code receiver can do, and over a course of time it will get one. It'll open one or all doors. So it's like a brute force opening, and even though it's running through all those codes, like there's billions, trillions of different code options. Eventually it will find it and it will open the door. And the same thing with the really old rolling code setups like the old Security Plus, not Security Plus 2.0, but old Security Plus pre-Purple Learn button. It'd work on that. It'd work on the linear digicode receivers. I guarantee it works on Genies. But yeah.
Any idea how much those things cost, those flippers?
I don't know if you can buy them anymore, but they were like a couple $100 back in the day.
Okay.
They were mostly, I don't know what, I think they were built originally for like computer programming and also for like, I also I have a friend of mine and he does security systems. He actually installed a security system that's in my garage. But he does that stuff, and he actually bought one and he uses it to help program security systems. And he said it's very nice with the Honeywell Vista series panels and stuff. So it's a really good tool, but just don't put it in the wrong hands. That's the thing.
Does it look like kind of like something that probably won't show up, but it says it's on Amazon.
Yeah, it's like that.
It says Flipper Zero. It's a 900 megahertz external module.
I'm also looking at the picture on the screen here. I didn't look at because I've been busy reading comments. Is that a OHD door?
Ooh, it looks like it, kind of, doesn't it, with those hinges?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Probably
So
explains why
price
they got
that.
the big bracket at the top for they didn't put a strut on
Oh
it because
yeah.
they're cheapskates.
They might have like built-in like reinforcement inside the door, but that's not saying much. Who knows? It could be like very
Yeah.
thin steel inside of there.
Right.
But getting back on doors, like around here, like I know I was saying, like Wayne Dalton kind of has a monopoly. It's not just that. There is a couple companies like, I know the company I work for, we have variety. We do. I know the other company, the big one, Magic, they mostly do Wayne Dalton, but they also have, you also have CHI as a budget option, which I think CHI has a good pan door.
Mm-hmm.
We have Safeway as our budget doors.
Okay.
So I think we're the only company around here that does Safeway.
Mm.
There's a couple companies. Actually, we're the only one that does Midland for residential. There's another company that does commercial Midland. That company might be belly up now, but
Mm.
Midland was another one we would do. We kind of dropped Midland because we started to have an issue with them, with their commercial doors. They were
Mm-hmm.
like, we would get them and like out of the box, like they were kind of falling apart. Like the sections were like they were kind of like, I'd say
Delaminating.
delaminate. Yeah, delaminating.
Dang.
I like kind of like an old sticker where like the front part of the sticker kind of peels off or something. It's kind of like that. That's what
Mm.
we were having that issue with Midland. The
Dang.
our vendor works with them directly, obviously, since it's a vendor, but he was very nice about making sure we got good door, but we never got to see if they were damaged until we pulled them out of the packaging on the job site. And
Hmm.
when you're on a job site and you have these doors, and you might not be able to get replacement sections until anywhere from 2 days to 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big problem, especially if the sections aren't usable. It's like you
Right.
can't install the door. So you have
Right.
that as an issue, and that's just enough there that made us drop Midland Commercial. We don't install Midland Commercial anymore because it happened multiple times. And at first, like I remembered Rich, I think, was the first person that brought it up on a live stream last year. And then I talked to my boss about it, and he's like, we don't speak of this or something like that. He kind of pushed it off under the rug. And at the time, I didn't know anything about this. And then I mentioned to him again like a month or so later, and he's like, yeah, we're having issues with them. The vendor's being nice about it. I don't want to talk about it because it's stressful, blah blah blah. And then eventually I was able to talk to him again about it, and he was like, yeah, it's we are not selling Midland anymore for commercial. We're just doing Wayne Dalton and CHI.
Dang.
Looking into other options, like I thought about Richards Wilcox. I'm curious about them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking we might try Richards Wilcox. I think we're also going to try Clopay. I like Clopay's product.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've been out in the field. There's another company that installed Clopay around here, and the older Clopay doors have held up really good. I haven't seen any of their commercial stuff. The closest thing I've seen are those custom glass doors that RB has in his shop.
Sure.
But besides that, I haven't seen any Clopay commercials, and I'm curious what those are like.
Hmm.
They're if it's like their residential stuff, it's probably pretty decent. And at that point, we might have to try Clopay. Like Clopay and Richards Wilcox were the two I was thinking of.
Yeah, Richards would be pretty cool. I don't know anybody that deals with Richards. I've gotten sections to, for overhead, but I've never dealt with a complete door to Richard Wilcox.
So Evan asks, "Can you get Richards Wilcox down here?" I'm not sure yet, and I want to look into that because I know I've heard other people talk about them, not just here on streams, but I've heard other people in the U.S. bring them up because it wasn't Andy, but another someone else that he knows. He brought up Richards Wilcox before, and he's in like Georgia or something. So if they exist over here, it would definitely be definitely be something that'd be interested. Knowing my luck, when I do this door with glass, since first install a door with glass, it's going to have a crack in it. Yeah, because I know it's Canadian. Yeah, I don't know if there's like a really like big American company over here that really only just deals with stuff here in America and not like other countries. Like,
yeah, that's a good question.
like, what is our version of Richard's Wilcox Stutter ones? Could it be OHD, Rainer?
Right.
Around here in my county, thankfully, we don't have any Rainer. Like Wayne Dalton has such a big monopoly, and then the other companies install like things like Clopay and stuff, or like more budget stuff. Like, we don't like the 9100s. I hate them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I ever said this, but when I was working not working, when I was on the apprenticeship, we went to this apartment complex where we had a bad windstorm and multiple 9100 double wide doors blew in and we couldn't get them repaired. So we had to like tape them up and like secure them in the wall with screws until we could get replacement doors, had to make sure the cards were out and all that stuff.
Wow.
That was a whole ordeal. And it was also insurance is what paid for all of these doors. And because we were having to deal with the insurance company, we had to wait for our money. So it took even longer.
Oh,
but
long time.
I knew at like some of the residents, they were so desperate, they didn't even deal about the insurance. They're like, if you can get me a door ASAP, no matter what color or whatever, I'll have maintenance painted or blah, blah, blah. They were just willing to outright pay for a door so they can have a garage door. Which that was always interesting because like I don't know if anyone ever actually did end up paying for it because I was just there to help secure the doors and try to get doors back up and running, and I think we were only able to get like 2 of them. It wasn't really good out of like 20 doors. It was awful. I know there was one where the door kind of blew in, and in the process it ripped the opener off the not the actual opener, but it was a Chamberlain with a square rail. It ripped the whole shuttle assembly off of the top.
Dang.
It was
and I'm
that
definitely
bad.
surprised that Wayne Dalton. I mean, it's no surprise that Wayne Dalton's got a monopoly over there. That's for sure. I mean, why not, right? Everybody's close and local.
We the crazy thing is we never really get a chance to like they never really like shoot us like prototype stuff to like screw around with, which is surprising. I would expect them to do that. We never did. Same with Genie. They never like really sent us any of like prototype items to like really mess around with. I do know in terms of prototype stuff, the JOG, the company that makes like the scissor lifts and lift trucks and sky tracks and stuff, they were right in Orville, and Magic, which is the big company that's in Orville, they actually had prototype JOG scissor lifts that they got for like a low price, and like they had a chance to experiment with them and stuff. So that's cool. I never really got a chance to talk to anyone about that. So I don't really know much. I just remember them telling me that, and like that was interesting.
Huh. That is pretty sweet.
But like in terms of smaller, like I just noticed like Evan listed Steelcraft. I've never seen a Steelcraft door around here in person.
Yeah, me neither.
Don't. So maybe that is a Canadian thing. Same with Richard's Wilcox.
What's he got? Though he says I think the garage door geek might have found a Steelcraft, so I have to check that out if he did.
Yeah, there might be. I do know Steelcraft was one of the LiftMasters. Was one of the LiftMaster rebadges. There's so many. There's such a big list. I would like to have a list of them. I definitely won't know all of them.
That'd be cool to have the list.
Yeah, I know the biggest ones we see around here are definitely just Chamberlain LiftMaster, but then we also see a lot of the they're the Wayne Dalton branded ones and Axis Master. Actually, the company I work with now, we used to actually install Axis Master branded openers. Trackside, we installed Axis Master back in the day.
Right.
That was what we were. Kit, not a ceiling fan. Light cover that screwed on, like the little tabs on the bottom, and then it had the bright blue case.
Ooh.
Those ones.
Ooh.
I always loved the blue case on them, and I was hoping we would pull some of those because I would like to have one for my personal collection.
Sure.
But we never did. We had those as our budget openers, and then LiftMaster units for like higher ups. And this was something I didn't notice existed. I need to ask Andy about this to see if it's actually true. But there was Axis Master screw drives.
What?
We never bought any of them. But I would really love to see a picture of one.
Yeah.
But it was like the older, not like the ones with like the 2500 style case, but the ones like the plastic case that always like the 1200 SDR. That's what it was. At least that was what the Chamberlain one was called. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But it was those. They had those that were branded as Axis Master. And I was told, like, I never seen any of them, and we never got any of them. But apparently, we put one of them in back in the day as like a pilot opener, in the 90s.
Nice.
I would love to see one in person. I'm curious if that's still around, but that's like a unicorn opener. It's probably extremely rare. I need to ask Andy about it. I want to know because I want to see a picture of what this thing actually looks like. I wonder if the case on it's actually blue or if it's just one with like a sticker on the side of it. This is Axis Master. But it's like I would really like to see what one of those looks like in person. That's kind of like a holy grail opener of mine.
I wish I could go back. I think all the openers I tore out, and if I would have had, if I would have had the resource of like, like you, Eric, and stuff, or Andy, I'd be taking pictures. I'd be like, worth anything?
Yeah.
Like, is it a keeper or not? Not that it's worth money really so much, but is it cool or not cool? At this
point, even the Axis Masters, which were the most common rebrands, I think those are even like kind of rare at this point. Like just any sort of rebrand, it's not Chamberlain or LiftMaster. Like there was. I just remembered this, that there's Clopay branded ones too. I remember someone showing me a Clopay branded one. There was a Garaga branded one.
Dang.
Like they'd be branded for door companies. I see the Wayne Dalton ones around here a lot, but they're the really old ones, like the more squared ones from the 90s.
Right. Makes sense. So like, Eric, how did everybody? You want people? You put your channel out there or anything?
My channel is like a variety channel, so it's like it's not just garage doors. Like there's just everything. Sometimes I'll sit in front of the camera and rant. I'll show a video of me taking apart a dehumidifier, or working on a fan, or reviewing an electric fan, or air conditioners, or electric related stuff. Because everything in my channel is just related to something mechanical. So if you like anything mechanical, you'll like my channel.
We should always put it. You should put it in the comments. I can post it up here or let the guys know,
Yeah, well, I have to connect StreamYard to YouTube, and that's a whole ordeal. But it's literally just called The Eric Freeze. It's that simple. The Eric Freeze.
Oh.
It's if you type that into it, you'll get that. You might also get another YouTube channel called The Aaron Freeze.
Oh, not the Aaron.
Yeah, don't get me confused with Aaron. He's a cool guy. I'm friends with him. I did actually get permission to use that name from him.
That's cool.
It's fine. You can give him support. He's a cool dude. I love talking to him. But yeah.
That's so cool, man. Well, I think I'm gonna kind of wrap it up. It's getting kind of late, and
oh yeah, I didn't even see the time.
Oh, it goes by fast. I really appreciate you coming on. Like I said, we'll have to do this again. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun if we did it. I don't know if we can do it with 3 people, but do it with Evan sometimes. We can pick his brain. He's one of those people I really want to.
Oh yeah.
I really want to go in there and mess with him because I don't know what things are like in Canada. I know there's a lot more rules up there and stuff.
He's a firecracker. I'll tell you that. He makes me laugh every time he texts me about it. He's always got something. He's a good dude.
I think I'm actually, since I'm in the mood of working on openers, I got one more video I have to edit and upload to YouTube, and after that, I'm going to do a teardown of that Craftsman screwdriver I got from Rusty.
Heck yeah, that'd be sweet.
I'm not going to do a full teardown. I'm going to do a board swap, see if it works with a 315, so I can use it with all my remotes and stuff if I put it up. But yeah, so yeah, thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, thanks for everybody being here, and we appreciate it. And like I said, thanks for being here, Eric. I appreciate it. It's a hoot.
Yeah. Thank you, Rich and Rich, Evan. You don't see Evan on here too often anymore. Rusty too.
Oh yeah.
And
oh yeah.
Big Strib for bringing up the Flipper Zero. That was it's pretty good that we actually get a chance to talk about that too, because that's something I always kind of forget about.
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about it, so I definitely learned something tonight.
Yeah. Well, if I'm on the stream, you're gonna learn something. You're gonna learn something. I'm an encyclopedia, even though I'm like 20 years younger than you.
right, exactly. It's good though, man. It's good.
Yeah, it is.
I love the young bucks. You know, I love the old bucks too. You know what I mean? Everybody's got
I
their
always
own
like.
perspective.
I try to go to Rusty's every month because every time I go meet up with him, he always teaches me something.
Oh yeah.
Like,
he's always got a lot of good points.
He's not even nearly as old as like you and Tony are. He's young.
He's young. Listen to
Like,
him.
I think he's like in his 20s, and yet he's still full of information.
Oh yeah, he's a good dude too. He's got a lot of good stuff. Like I said.
Okay, let's end the stream so we can go to bed.
All right, guys, take care. Remember, keep your fingers. Thanks for being here, and be safe and have a good day or night, whatever it is to you. We'll talk to you later. See you, Eric.
See ya.